Bobi Wine was in Chisolo, and he said that Muhoozi Kainerugaba is stupid.
Even if you are stupid as Museveni's son. Okay, no, did I say that?
Now, the Muhoozi team was extremely triggered. They said, "You can't do this to our dear leader." Okay. Then I spoke to one of the people that has faced the wrath of Muhoozi Kainerugaba, Kakwenza Rukirabashaija, and he had very choice words. He said Muhoozi is not stupid, but he is...
Actually, stupid is an understatement. And I should say that Bobi Wine was actually so very kind in describing Muhoozi. If it were me, I would really describe Muhoozi using very harsh words, bigger than stupid. So Muhoozi should actually appreciate Bobi Wine for being very kind with his words.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
Very glad to be here on Mordecai Marissa TV.
Hello, my name is Mordecai Marissa, and I say thank you so much. I hope you're having a great time wherever you are with whatever you are doing. I'm so glad that you connect with me on my social media platforms. It is Mordecai Marissa across all social media platforms. So please go on and follow, subscribe, like, share. Do it. I mean, do your thing, especially on my YouTube channel. We're almost hitting 12,000 subscribers. So I say thank you so much for doing that. Head over there. We're trying to grow that page as well. And I've seen tremendous support from all of you. So please go on, subscribe. And if you find these conversations worth or if they hold any substance, please share them with your friends and family. Well, folks, today I'll be giving a comment about this whole incident of Bobi Wine referring to Muhoozi Kainerugaba as stupid, and the response from Kakwenza Rukirabashaija, whom I had a conversation with. It's a very long conversation, so you want to grab your popcorn and a glass of water or juice or whatever, and, you know, relax. Sit back and relax. It's a wonderful conversation. It's very funny. I usually talk about the hypocrisy and the double standards of Museveni surrogates or minions. Everything is usually bad until it is done by their own. You know, the criticism, you know, they cannot stomach. They believe it is very bad. It is extremely degrading until they're the ones that are giving that criticism. Hypocrisy doesn't even begin to describe who these people are. While I may not agree with Bobi Wine using that language, but I look on the other side, what have they done? And this is some sort of, usually they fail to look in the mirror because what they've done doesn't even come close to what Bobi Wine has done. Bobi Wine referring to Muhoozi Kainerugaba as stupid, yet Muhoozi Kainerugaba has been commanding the terrorizing of Ugandan citizens, of abducting, torturing, and killing of Ugandans. And, please, my ego is fragile. You can't call me stupid, but I'll kill your children. It doesn't make any sense at all. I usually laugh. I've been telling you about Museveni's children. One of them is a pastor. I think one of his daughter is a pastor. Okay, the gospel is very nice. They preach the word of God until it is time to preach that word to their father. It doesn't make any sense. But let me give you this video of Bobi Wine. Actually, he was speaking to the people of Chisolo, telling them that, you know, it doesn't require you anything to be given unfair advantages or privileges as long as you support Mr. Museveni. That's all. And he was saying that even if you are a fool as Muhoozi Kainerugaba, everything will be okay as long as you support Mr. Museveni. Watch this video.
Even if you are stupid as Museveni's son, okay, no, did I say that? Did I say that? Even if they don't work, they have their slaves and their slaves are you.
And shortly after that, the Muhoozi side came and made a press conference. They made a press conference and different people giving their comment, including ministers, saying, "Oh, you cannot say this about Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Our guy, why are you abusing our guy?" Their guy is the one who tortures people. But they be like, "Oh, you can't abuse him. He's a kid. He's a toddler. You have to massage his ego so nicely." This is one of the leaders in the unpopular Patriotic League of Uganda. They call themselves Patriots, and they are led by Muhoozi Kainerugaba. And he was responding to Bobi Wine. This is what he said.
We have therefore scheduled this press conference to clarify on some of these unpatriotic utterances. Our attention has been drawn to the utterances made by the President of the National Unity Platform, the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, by abusing our beloved chairman of Patriotic League of Uganda, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, that, in quote, that even if the people of Teso, because he was in Soroti, are stupid, like Museveni's son, that they have slaves who work for them, and the slaves are the people of Teso. We would like to categorically state and inform the people of Uganda and General Muhoozi Kainerugaba that the people of Uganda are not slaves, neither is General Muhoozi Kainerugaba stupid. Our beloved General Muhoozi Kainerugaba is a public servant and in fact a commander of Uganda People's Defense Forces, a position he has attained as a result of his bravery, experience, and hard work. Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi should therefore find other ways to use solicit for his own support rather than concentrating his energies on people who have, out of their sacrifices, liberated this country and stabilized it both economically and politically. Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu should know that Ugandans have since moved away from the politics of blackmail, idle talk, tribalism, sectarianism, and theater. The Patriotic League of Uganda Fraternity therefore condemns this act in the strongest terms possible and demands that the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Sentamu apologizes to His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, our beloved Chairman General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, and Ugandans at large who mean well for this country.
Oh my God. That's so shameful. But only, things are usually shameful if you have if you're able to actually feel shame. Some people are not able to feel embarrassed over what they've done. So it might be embarrassing, but hey, folks have decided, no, I don't feel shame at all. It doesn't matter what I do or do not. All right. I'm going to show you several times Muhoozi Kainerugaba has abused people. But before I get there, I will play you this interview I had with Kakwenza Rukirabashaija responding. And he goes on to mention a number of other things, and where I asked him about where he gets the confidence and the message to the young people, and he calls out the American Embassy and the European Union in Uganda for continuing to work with Mr. Museveni, of whom they know that he's in power through extra-constitutional means. So this is a whole buffet of a conversation. So sit down, relax, and enjoy this conversation with Kakwenza Rukirabashaija. On the other side, I'll come and show you several times Muhoozi Kainerugaba has abused people. And his surrogates have not come out to be like, hey, General, you cannot do this. Crickets. Watch.
So, firstly, let me speak as a person who loves English. You know, I'm a penchant for words. I love words and I love descriptive literature. You know that.
Yes.
So first of all, if I call you stupid, or if one calls Muhoozi stupid, it will be a pure description of who he is. First of all, what is stupid? What is the meaning of stupid? It means someone who is unintelligent, who is ignorant, who is dense, who is brainless, mindless, foolish, dull-witted, imbecile. And to be honest, we have seen Muhoozi, we have seen him talk, we have seen him write stuff on Twitter, we have seen his actions. It is a pure description of stupid. So if an outsider saw what Muhoozi tweets or what he speaks or what he does, actually stupid is an understatement. And I should say that Bobi Wine was actually so very kind in describing Muhoozi. If it were me, I would really describe Muhoozi using very harsh words, bigger than stupid. So Muhoozi should actually appreciate Bobi Wine for being very kind with his words. So that is one. And on a legal perspective, Muhoozi is actually very stupid. He breaks the law. He does unconstitutional stuff as a military officer. He breaks the law, the UPDF Act, the Constitution, and all that. And he is very proud at that. You have seen him in the media making comments that are absolutely unacceptable in any developed society, where he has that disregard for the rule of law. So such a person is called what in English? It's called very stupid. He's called stupid. He's a mindless person. So if someone is mindless, he's stupid. If someone is ignorant of the law, he's stupid. If someone is dense, he's stupid. If someone is brainless, he's stupid. So I have seen his tweet before calling Bobi Wine an imbecile. So between Muhoozi and Bobi Wine, who is an imbecile? It is Muhoozi, definitely, because I have never seen anything that Bobi Wine has said that exudes imbecility or stupidity. But at the same time, I've seen hundreds of things that Muhoozi has done that exude imbecility, stupidity. So if I'm to describe stupid people, I would first describe Muhoozi. And if you ask me to describe Bobi Wine as a stupid person, I would really scratch my head, looking for evidence of him being stupid. Yeah?
Yeah, but what do you make of these people? Because we've seen, like you said, we've seen his tweets, we've seen him breaking the law. What do you make of folks like Ogwal, folks like the Balam and the Kabanda, who are defending him and are taking offense because Bobi Wine referred to him as stupid?
You know, let me tell you something, my brother. You know, in Runyankore we say, okay, not in Runyankore, I'm not in Runyankore, I'm Amhoro. Okay, in Runyastara.
Yes,
Runyastara is Rutiga, Ruhororo, Runyankore, Rutoro, Runyoro. Kugamba kinami, Omhoro nukujire chenega. If you speak about what is thinking, definitely the pig will get offended. So, if the pig does not get offended, if it is ashamed to get offended, it will instruct the piglets to get offended on its behalf. So, when Bobi Wine talked about a stupid Muhoozi, the pig got offended, but was ashamed to come out and say so. So it instructed its piglets, that is Baram, that is Kabanda, Gwang, you know, those Bamrikas. Chamuchas. Okay, let me be honest. Let me call them chamuchas. Because if I say Bamrikas, very many people will take it literally, but it is an English word. I love English. People who do not understand English, they take it literally and say a Bamrika is someone who gets his tongue and licks someone's bums. No. A Bamrika is someone who is so subservient, obsequious, Like the likes of Balam, the likes of Gashumba, they are so possessed with an imbecile that is in Muhoozi. So they are called bamblinkers or chamuchas. Let us call them chamuchas for the sake of sanity.
Oh my. Okay.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question about our elite class. What has become of our so-called elite class that they won't come out to condemn? Some of them even rallying behind the man they know lacks the bare minimum of being a president of Uganda.
First of all, who is an elite? Who describes who is an elite?
We have those class of folks who have gone to elite schools, like who have gone to Harvard, who have gone to Oxford, folks who are who live in Kololo, who own expensive mansions and stuff like that.
How did they get those expensive mansions? By hard work through, hard work, exercising the education to be hard workers, to stand for something that is right, or they accumulated all those mansions, jobs, cars through doing shoddy work for chamuchas like Muhoozi or the government. Being an elite, first of all, you have to stand for something that is right. But if you find someone who is educated and is not standing for something that is right, that means that person is not an elite. You cannot call them elite. No, they are not. But if, for example, you are an educated person, you always stand for something that is right, even when you are still in Uganda, before you even fled the country. You did not become an elite after fleeing the country. You were an elite even when you were still in the country as a journalist. I used to follow you a lot, Mr. Mordecai.
Thank you.
So you are an example of an elite. I have never heard you taking a bribe for killing a story as a journalist, as for informing the world. So you are an elite. So if a person is out there, they are driving in Mercedes-Benz, they are driving in Range Rovers, but they do not stand for anything that is right, anything that is benefiting their posterity, anything that is beneficial to the country, but they are standing for something that is consolidating these parasites in power, or they are keeping quiet, they cannot say what is right or what is wrong, they are just neutral. Those are not elite. They are not. They cannot call themselves elites because they are educated, because they have jobs. No. An elite, you must have principles and values. And those principles and values, they must be beneficial to the country. And to be beneficial to the country, you must stand against dictatorship. You must stand against this parasitism, corruption, and all this nonsense that is going on. So if you find someone that is calling themselves elites, first ask them for their resume. What have they been doing? What are their actions against all this nonsense that is maladministration and misanthropism that is going on in this country? If their answer is nothing, then you cannot call them elites. They are not elites.
Kakwenza, when you were still in Uganda, you were this vocal and you spoke out your mind, you fought for your country, you were extremely confident and brave, and you're not doing this because you flee your country. Where do you get all this confidence, and what advice would you give to the young people out there who are looking at you as a role model, but they're afraid to speak against the Museveni regime?
I actually always laugh at these idiots, or I call them nincompoops, who think that I just started speaking out after fleeing the country.
Oh no, were they just born yesterday?
They were born yesterday, or they started following politics in 2018 after Bobi Wine came.
Yeah.
Me, I became vocal in 2000. 2000, I remember when I was charged with treason. I was 13 years old, 12 years old.
Wow.
That is when I became vocal. And I've been vocal since then. I've been in the trenches. So when you hear people saying that Kakwenza is only vocal because he's in exile, in Uganda, by the way, let me tell you something. In Uganda, I had all the freedom of expression. I had all that freedom, but I did not have freedom after expression. So I spoke my mind. I spoke everything. It is only after becoming a writer that the state got interested in my voice, because I touched many souls through my literature, through writing. You know, through literature, you kind of diagnose problems of the society. You like, you get a torch and you shine light into the hellholes of impunity. So that is why the state got so interested and scared at the same time. So I had all the freedom, but I did not have the freedom after exercising my freedom. So these people who are saying that I am making noise in exile, they do not understand. They did not even know me. They don't know who I am. They only knew about me after I maybe afraid to exile. But I have always been exercising my freedom to write, freedom of expression, and freedom of thought.
So to a young person out there in Uganda who is afraid to speak out because you did it when you were 13, so what would you say to them?
People in Uganda must know that, actually I draw inspiration from my grandfather. You see, my grandfather used to criticize Museveni. Also, my father used to criticize Museveni. So I'm like, my grandfather died, my father died. So am I there to inherit criticism or criticizing? I cannot inherit criticizing. So I have to do something. This is the period of not just the mere criticizing, but also banging the table. You know, when you're seated with the people and they think that, oh, we need dialogue. You cannot dialogue with someone like Muhoozi Kainerugaba who just grabs you and tortures you to near death. You must bang the table. That is the reason why I am against these things of removing the dictator through election. It doesn't work. We have tried that since 1996. It doesn't work. So we must rise up and we say no to election. If 2026, these days, my message is this: boycott the 2026 election. And there are people who are very stupid. They are always saying that if we boycott, they will parade masqueraders to act as the opposition. My message is always like this: boycott and also make sure that no election takes place. I hope I am very clear.
I can hear you. Yep.
Boycott, and make sure that also there is no election that takes place in 2026. That is how we shall get rid of the dictator.
How do you make sure how do you do that to make sure that the election doesn't happen? You're dealing with a person like Museveni who has no any regard to the lives of Ugandans.
Mordecai, I do not want to sound violent, but if anyone asks how to stop the dictator, how are they even in the opposition if someone is asking how to stop the dictator from appearing on the ballot of 2026? How do they qualify to call themselves the opposition? I do not want to incite violence or to be called a violent person, but it is within the Constitution. We have to use everything within our power to liberate ourselves. Everything within our power, as long as we do not harm civilians and armed citizens. We know our targets. Those who abet the dictatorship. It is a well principle in international law. Our targets, the military. If you are there and you are abating the dictatorship, you are our target, and international law allows us to do that, to eliminate you. Yes.
Interesting. So, we have seen you ever since you left the country. You've not been quiet. You've used your social media as a powerful tool of exposing Mr. Museveni and his minions or obsequious folks. Now, how would you advise young people out there who have social media and are sort of afraid or do not even consider it to be a tool that it can be used against Mr. Museveni?
You know, one of the advantages that Museveni has actually is subjecting Ugandans into fear.
Yes.
And you know, brutality means weakness. If you find someone who is very brutal, just to know that they are very weak. That is the reason why I consider Museveni as a very, very weak person. He's always there saying that I am the master of violence, I am this, but he can never even allow a congregation or an assembly of 20 people. He just brings tanks or tear gas, and that is all the signs of weakness. So I am not a believer of this social media activism and all that. We are past that. We've been through that. We've been using that for ages. It's just nonsense, apart from informing the world of what is taking place in Uganda. So after informing the world on what is taking place in Uganda, so what? What happens after? We've been into that and we are tired. It has not brought any change, apart from informing the world how Uganda is systematically abusing our rights. How does that help? No country has ever come out to invoke the extraterritorial jurisdiction of, the obligation of human rights. No country has ever come out to do that. So of what use is it? The European Union has a whole seat in Uganda, in Nakasero. What has it done? The State Department, USA has an embassy in Kampala. What have they done? Nothing, absolutely. They just keep on legitimizing the dictator and abusers. I saw EU recently hanging around with Muhoozi. What use is it? They know that he's a human rights abuser, so why do they keep giving him a platform? So these things of social media, using social media to expose the dictatorship, yes, it is good, but how are we going to remove the dictator using that? We are, we are supposed to act ourselves and we remove the dictator.
And I hope you're not trying to speak to people telling them to get rid of social media strategy.
No. Okay. I'm not saying that, but you have to balance.
Yes, I get you now.
As I told you before, these interactions between European Union and the government officials who have committed systematic grave human rights abuses while circumventing legal implications. You know the reason why they circumvent legal implications. We have the weakened institutions, the public prosecution, the judiciary. So their interactions, it kind of lends legitimacy to their actions. And that act actually, it risks public perception of the EU as an institution. You have seen whenever the EU in Uganda or these other institutions, stakeholders, whenever they post something, how Ugandans go and insult them. That is what I'm talking about, risking public perception in the eyes of the Ugandans, and it undermines their extraterritorial human rights obligations owed to it, pursuant to international human rights law. So them continuing causing up with Muhoozi and Museveni, it absolutely does not hold or uphold any institutional credibility, or it does not support goals of international justice, which should be their goal. But their goals, we kind of see it as geopolitical expediency.
The last question I want to ask you, I've had people comment about you. They say, I would love Kakwenza, but that guy is so extreme, that guy is so radical. I would really appreciate what he does, but Kakwenza is, has very many choice words that are not nice. What would you say to these people who think that, you're very good at the cause, but your strategy is extremely bad?
So how have they used their strategy to the good thing?
That's a good question.
Exactly. If I'm seated with you, if we are 100 people,
Yeah.
And I am the only person banging the table, and then we share the same cause, and you say that I'm doing bad, instead of joining there and bang the table so that the other guys can be discombobulated and get ashamed and do something, or you are blaming my method. If your method is not working, let me use mine. If I don't care if I am alone. So, me, that is the reason why I support this Semakade guy.
Yeah.
Banging the table. Yes, exactly. So, after 40 years of Musevenism, honestly, what kind of strategy do you have to use if it is not radical rudeness?
Radical rudeness, yeah.
That is the reason why I'm in exile, and those who are using massaging methods are in Uganda. That is the reason why the entire state institution, the whole state, they came against me, because they know that I have a very strong voice. So if you see an entire state coming against a person like me, torture me, confiscate my passport to the extent of freeing the country without a passport, means that my voice is very strong and they fear my voice. It is a very, very, very strong voice.
Absolutely.
So if we were 10,000 of Kakwenzas, just imagine we were 10,000 of me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We still have to understand this story maybe for another day, how you flew Uganda without a passport, or did you use the broom or what?
I wrote the whole book. It is there on Amazon. Anyone can go and buy it.
That's amazing. I would actually ask you to let everyone that is listening in to let them know the books you've written and where they can find them.
They are on Amazon. All my books are on Amazon.
And how many are there?
Three books. The Barbarian, Banana Republic, and the Savage Avenger.
The Savage Avenger, the Greedy Barbarian, and the Banana Republic are all books you can get on Amazon. Kakwenza Rukirabashaija. Thank you so much for an opportunity of speaking to you, and I do really appreciate you an inspiration, and I will continue listening in and trying to understand ways of how we can push the regime of Mr. Museveni out of power. And I am extremely optimistic that someday, there's always some sort of blame when it comes to Uganda. They say you cannot do it. But people usually forget that the independence of African countries didn't happen on the same day. We have Ghana in 1957. We have Kenya in 63, Uganda 62. It never meant that Ugandans were weak or Kenyans were weak. It took different times, but it eventually happened. Yes. So thank you so much for this opportunity of speaking to you.
Thank you so much, my brother. You got me out of sleep. I was sleeping.
And oh my God, you're just from sleep and you're so clear, coherent, and cohesive in your submission.
I'm just from sleeping. I thought you were just calling me so that we can prepare and we talk somewhere on a live video. But anyway, it's okay.
Oh, I am so sorry.
It's okay, my brother.
All right. You have yourself a wonderful day.
All right. Speak to you later.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Live.
That is Kakwenza Rukirabashaija for you. Wonderful guy. He's dedicated his life to fighting the regime of Mr. Museveni. And I truly believe his efforts won't go in vain. Someday, sometime, we shall get rid of Mr. Museveni and Musevenism as an ideology. But he mentions a number of things in that interview, and I do not want to repeat what he said, but he asks questions that he thinks that, he's describing this person. He doesn't believe that he's actually abusing. He even thinks that Bobi Wine was very kind to Muhoozi Kainerugaba. What do you make of that? You tell me. But he goes on to say, I hope you enjoyed. But I told you I'll be showing you a number of times Muhoozi Kainerugaba abused a number of people. On screen is that he was responding to Bobi Wine. And look at how he responds to him, calls him Ka Bobi Wine Kanje. That language is a language, that's Lunyankore, my language. That language paints an image of referring to someone as a little toddler, ka Bobi Wine, little small, ka Bobi Wine kanje. Oh dear, ka Bobi Wine kanje. That's him referring to Bobi Wine. We never saw the Mawanda, the Balam Barugahara, the Ogwang, like I will show you, coming out to say, hey, please, you cannot say this. That's him, Muhoozi Kainerugaba. At one time, he was responding to my friend Remi Bahati. She had written an article on her X platform, which she titled "The Myth of the Brilliant, Charismatic Son of a Ruler Seeking to Lead." And instead of responding to what she wrote, he went on to say, even tomorrow, like you see on screen, even tomorrow, she will still be ugly. Some conditions are incurable. This is a military general, the command of our military forces or defense forces, responding to a journalist online saying, oh, even tomorrow morning, she will still be ugly. Some conditions are incurable. We never saw the Balam Barugahara coming out to say, you cannot say this. They actually think this is cool. They think that this is smart. No, it isn't. But when Bobi Wine referred to him as stupid, oh, look at Ogwang. Ogwang went on to say, how pathetic is this from someone who seeks to lead the country? How pathetic was it when he was responding or referring to Remi Bahati as insufferable and incurable, that she's ugly, body shaming and stuff like that? How pathetic was that? And he wants to lead the country. Do these folks listen to themselves? And then you had Balam Barugahara, and this is what he said. I'm reading here from my phone. And, this is what he said. As you can see on the screen. Disappointing by NUP leader, disrespect towards my leader. Despite struggling to rally support, Bobi Wine, it's time to acknowledge the people's leader, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. When Museveni retired, now he goes on to licking the boots of Muhoozi. When Museveni retires, Uganda will usher in a new era. We've made our mark in sorority. Where were you when he was abusing other people? He insults other people, spreads racism, threatens other countries. You do not come out to criticize him. It is when Bobi Wine does it. Oh, how could you do that? That is very pathetic. You cannot do that. Do these people listen to themselves? Do they ever? And Muhoozi Kainerugaba blocked me, so I can't engage in his conversations or his tweets. But this shows you how pathetic these folks are and hypocritical. They're willing to criticize any person who criticizes Muhoozi, but they will never do that if Muhoozi does that. Does that sound like a father, like a son sort of ideology? Unfortunate. Anyways, I hope you had a wonderful time following along this conversation. And let me know what you think. Write in the comment section. Do you think Muhoozi is stupid or that is too harsh? Is it? Or you think Bobi Wine should Bobi Wine be using that rhetoric or not? Was Bobi Wine just kind, just being kind? It could have been worse or no? What do you think? Like this video and share it with folks if you really believe it makes any sense. And take some knowledge from what Kakwenza said. There's a bunch of things we discussed together. Okay? My name is Muhoozi Kainerugaba. I wish you a wonderful time. Until we catch up again, bye-bye.
Did you enjoy what you just watched? I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa YouTube channel? Thank you.